Bowie. This is Bowie. And beside
This
him,
is Bowie.
you could hardly see him, but is the owner, Kevin Furman.
Yes.
Huge Instagram account. I just looked at it again. Your numbers keep going up. I think you're at 517,000 followers on Instagram right now.
It's getting pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, how can it not? Look at Bowie.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart.
He is.
He has a lot of fans.
He has a lot of fans, except he's being shy with me right now.
He is. I don't think he realizes that there's a human in there. Look.
Hi, Bowie.
Bowie, you're on a podcast.
He doesn't even want to talk to me. So I want to talk about a bunch of things with you. First of all, you're in your garage. You've redone your garage into the Bowie studio, it looks like.
Yes. Yeah, we plan on filming tons of content in here. So I'm just getting all this new stuff tested out. I got this mic less than a week ago.
It sounds great, by the way.
Thank you. I'm glad it's working. I had no idea if it was going to work or not.
Yeah, no, you can test it on me. It works. It works perfect. And the Bowie in the background reminds me of David Bowie with the thing. Is that how you got Bowie's name? Is through David Bowie?
He is named after David Bowie. I didn't name him myself, but I was a big enough David Bowie fan not to change his name.
Well, okay. So if you didn't name him, where'd you get Bowie from?
So a buddy of mine in Albuquerque had Bowie initially. He got him from his mom, and he's the big David Bowie fan. So a friend of mine I know through skateboarding. He's actually a professional skateboarder.
He was on your show. I just saw him on Instagram.
So that was Paul Rodriguez. This is a different guy.
Okay.
He actually will be on the show soon.
Yeah.
So we actually filmed a segment with him. His name's Bryant Chapo.
Okay.
And we met up with him and his current dog and got him in the car for an episode. So that one's coming soon.
Okay, well, that would be fun. Now, is this becoming a full-time gig for you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, probably for almost 6 months now, we've become full-time content creators. So, whereas I used to have to drive Uber 50 or 60 hours a week just to pay the bills. These days, we drive once a week just to get new content for the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the rest of the week, we're just making videos, doing brand deals, and managing all the social media.
Yeah, well, you must have a ton of work on the go because you've always got TikTok videos. There's always new content coming out. And by the way, I love your content. The reaction of people, especially the women after they've been drinking all night and they get in the car, like they don't want to get out. They don't want to leave the car because of Bowie.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
The content, it keeps coming in. Right now we're backed up probably 3 months. So I'm still posting stuff from January.
Wow.
We have, since then a new car, a whole new setup, and we're not even touching any of that new content yet because we still have so much. But luckily our local college, CU Boulder, is going to be on spring break soon. So hopefully we'll get a chance to get to more current stuff.
Oh, well, I'm sure that you won't lack any content by the way things are going right now.
Yeah, there's no shortage of it.
No. So can I ask you then, how has Bowie, I mean, obviously he's changed your life in an incredible way where now you're doing video content, you're all over social media. How has he changed your life personally, not just professionally in a work way?
Of course. Yeah. He changed my life personally far before we ever got into any of this stuff. So a little backstory on Bowie. I was running a skateboard factory up until early 2021. Yeah. It was my dream job. I was working with my friends. It was very successful at the beginning, at least. And, I was sort of living my dream. I was getting to work in an industry that I loved and pay the bills doing it. Everything was going great. Yeah. And then the supply chain fell apart on the tail end of COVID, and that place went bankrupt. So this was a time in my life when I was at the lowest low I had ever been. I had to go back to driving Uber full time. And, at this point I have a mortgage now and I'm, doing adult things and an Uber income is not going to be able to support it. No. So I was kind of freaking out and I just didn't have a lot going for me at the time. And I don't know, someone told me, because I didn't really feel like I had a reason to even wake up in the morning. Like it was really bad. And someone told me around that time that I need to live my life for someone other than myself, someone or something. And I need to have a bigger purpose, someone that relies on me, and like, they're just like, get a dog, And I always grew up with dogs. And then I was renting apartments for like 7 years. And finally I was, I'm in a house with a backyard and I don't have roommates with dogs. I'm like, you know what? It is a great time to get a dog. Yeah. And ever since Bowie came into my life, I drove 7 hours to Albuquerque to go pick him up, instantly realized he was really good in the car. And, he just gave my life more meaning, more purpose. He forced me to wake up at 5 a.m. and take walks every day.
Isn't it the best hearing their little paw prints running when you come to the door, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
snuggle in the morning with you, make you get up, give you a reason to get up and go for a
Right.
walk and start your day. I totally agree with that.
Totally. Yeah, he changed my life, and I just got lucky with the fact that he was good in the car.
Yeah.
So being that I had to do Uber full time, and he had really bad separation anxiety as a puppy.
He did.
And,
okay.
Honestly, he still does. He doesn't want to leave my side ever. Clearly, I mean, he doesn't have to be in this chair right now, but he just wants to do.
Oh my God, he's even got a bow tie on. It's adorable.
Bowie has a bow tie. He just wants to do whatever I do. So I'm like, why not just take him along to Uber with me? And we did that for over a year before we ever even thought to put a camera in there. And I just knew the reactions were so priceless. The engagement we've been having with the riders and everything. It's like it would be a crime not to document this.
No,
so we started doing that.
I agree,
a year ago.
because I know whenever I brought my late Max around, it's amazing how people's personality changes. Everything changes when there's a dog around. If you're a single guy and you want to meet a woman, you have a puppy and you go to the dog park, and all the women are going to come over and talk to you. It's amazing what dogs do to lift people's spirits.
Totally. Yeah. It's magical.
I'm going to show some videos and some shots of women coming into your car and their reaction to Bowie as we speak. But I also want to ask you, have you ever had anybody who has acted negatively when they opened the door and saw a dog in the front seat?
Hardly ever. So we've done about 7,000 rides roughly with Bowie, and we've only ever had 2 negative reactions, really only 1 negative reaction. And that wasn't even someone who didn't like dogs. This guy was traveling with his family. I was picking them up at the airport, and he had a wife and 2 kids and luggage. He seemed to think that there wasn't enough room in the car for all of them.
Okay.
Because Bowie was taking up the front seat, he was angry about that. There was enough room. He was just having a bad day. Traveling with young kids, I think that was more so what he was angry about.
That's enough reason to be upset, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure. So there was that one. And then I did have one lady one time that was just afraid of dogs. So she didn't get in. And, if that ever happens or someone's allergic, they can cancel the ride free of charge. It's not a big deal. Right. And we could send another driver.
Kevin, can I ask you, does it show up on your Uber account that you have a dog in there, or is it a surprise when people...
It's a surprise because if it was on the app beforehand, one, we wouldn't get the reactions that we get.
True.
And 2, I think some people would, make up their mind on how it's going to go before they even get in. There's been known to be plenty of Uber drivers with dogs, and a lot of the time it's not a great experience. The dogs are yappy and barking and running all over the car and being crazy. Obviously that's not the experience with Bowie here. So we sort of took a chance. Like, I knew Uber allowed drivers to have dogs. There isn't any rule that I've found that says we have to alert them beforehand. Okay. So I was just sort of seeing how it would go. And with my luck, Uber actually never found out about the show and everything I'm doing until after we were featured on like Good Morning America and Inside Edition and all this stuff. So
I know you've been everywhere. They must love it because you're giving them free promotion, right?
Right. So by the time they reached out to me, I mean, what are they going to say about it? They love it. And now they're actually partnering with me to, do some videos. We actually just posted one the other day promoting Uber. We did a day in the life of Bowie, and Uber posted it to all of their social media. So we're on the good side of Uber. So for all the thousands of people out there that have commented that Uber's going to deactivate me and stuff like that. No, we're working together and they love it.
I think that's amazing. I do want to mention, I saw a video that you posted not that long ago about a gentleman, and it was heart-wrenching for me because I had just lost my dog in August. So it's one of the hardest things you can go through. And that's actually, I don't know if you know, that's why I started this podcast. It was in his honor because I wanted to do something for him because he was like Bowie is to you. He was my shadow. He came with me everywhere.
Of course.
But there was a gentleman that got in your car, and I believe he had just put his dog down, and he was overwhelmed with emotion when he saw Bowie.
Yeah, that morning he had put his dog down. So this is sort of a phenomenon. It's happened quite a few times, mostly before we started filming the show. Really? But there's some kind of force out there in the world that's causing this to happen, I feel like. And there's a couple different examples of this. So that guy specifically, Matthew, he had put his dog down that morning.
Yeah.
He was going out that night to see friends or get some drinks or something. And when I picked him up, his reaction was just, it was different. You could tell there was some emotion coming from him. And then he told me he had just put his dog down that morning. And, of course I said, I was so sorry for your loss and everything. And then he said, no, I think this is, kind of meant to be. He seemed like a sort of religious guy. And he was like, there's forces controlling this. I was meant to get your car and your dog as an Uber today. Not the first time that has happened. I've had that plenty of times where people put a dog down either that day or recently, and then they get my car and they're like, wow, what are the odds?
Yeah.
Also that video. So that video has probably 10 million views across TikTok and Instagram.
10 million.
Yeah. So that's probably our third or fourth most popular video out there. But it's funny what the algorithm does, because it actually went and found people who had also recently lost their dogs. Mm-hmm. So to this day, I get hundreds of comments on that video of people who put their dogs down that day, that week, that month, and then that video comes across their feed. And I don't know how the algorithm works, but not only does it find passengers,
but it's working good for you right now.
Yeah, the video keeps finding people that are grieving over losing a pet, and it's the most beautiful thing. And it's sad, but also it's like, I don't know. Pets are just so special. Like once they come into your life, it's
pets give us more than we give them, and I believe that pets pick their owners, and there's something really special when you have a bond between yourself and your dog. There's nothing that compares to it.
Totally. 100%.
Yeah. And I see you got new chairs.
Yes. Yeah. FlexiSpot, company that reached out to me. Yeah. They sent me some chairs and,
are you overwhelmed with the response that you're getting? I mean, Good Morning America, you're on national television, you're getting sponsorship, you've got beautiful chairs that you're sitting in. You've got merchandise now too. The shirt that you've got on, the sweatshirt is a merchandise. Yeah.
Bowie sweatshirts are out now. Yeah. Is it overwhelming? Yeah. Yes. I mean, at the beginning, it was very overwhelming. I had the idea to start an Uber show probably 8 years ago. I never did it because I didn't want to be the center of attention. I'm really not the type of person to, go on camera and be like, what's up, YouTube? Today we're going to do this. That's not me. That's not my personality. Yeah. So I never did it. It was Bowie and the reactions I get from the dog that convinced me to do this. So I really wasn't ready to be, a public figure or someone that, sometimes I get recognized in public now and stuff. So it is
because you're in Colorado, right?
Yeah. And Colorado is such a dog friendly state as well. Yeah, everyone loves dogs here. I mean, all animals. So it's taken some getting used to. I think the main thing for me, which has been difficult, is just trying to get on a schedule, because when you're in this line of work, there is no time to work and time to play. It is like, it's a constant. So every waking minute of every day is work now. And, you have to try to put some time aside to do things for yourself and take care of everything else in life. I mean, I think a good analogy with, when you're a full-time content creator, it's like playing the lottery for free. So every time you post, it doesn't cost you anything to post a video,
right?
But, one in every 100 times that you post something, it's going to go viral and it's going to make you tons of money. So if you're doing this full time for a living, you're riding the waves of the ups and the downs. Some months we make 20% of what we make other months, and there's really no consistency. So staying consistent in posting and hoping that each month a couple videos go viral, it's a lot of pressure, and it's not easy. I mean, I think most people would think, oh, if you're just posting videos on Instagram for a living, it's probably easy work.
No, it's not. I come from a media background, and I know it is exhausting. Like at the end of the day of not only shooting, but preparing for an interview and putting it all together and editing it and adding this and taking this out and doing voiceovers, you're exhausted. And if that's your full-time gig, if that's what you do all day, you must be exhausted at the end of the day. And you're right. It can take 10, 12 hours a day to get this going. You can't just take a day off.
Yeah, totally. So it's been a lot of work, but I'm a big picture type of thinker.
Yeah.
And anytime I get overwhelmed, I just try to put everything into perspective. I've done a lot of different jobs, I've been in a lot of different industries and lines of work, a lot of jobs with bosses breathing down my neck, working desk jobs,
Oh,
being,
yeah.
having sales numbers. I worked in sales for a long time, and just having numbers held over your head, you better produce. And then, at the end of the day, what you take home is such a small piece of that. Even just driving rideshare in general. I mean, Uber has been taking more and more off the top, and Lyft as well, over the
So
years,
you
which
made
has made it difficult.
which means you were making less and less with Uber and Lyft because they were taking more off the top of what you were bringing in. So you had to work more hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Up until the show started doing well and I was driving full time, to try to survive, it's like 50, 60 hours a week. And even still, with that, you can make, I guess, decent money. But then, something comes up with your car, you have a big repair that you have to do,
Yeah.
and it sets you back. And then, boom, you're back at zero. So when I look at it in perspective, this is the best job ever. I mean, I get to hang out with my dog all day instead of driving around all these hours. Most of the week, I'm hanging out at home, editing videos. I have more time to take Bowie to the park. And, he's so spoiled that right now he's standing over here whining because
Well,
it's not all about him right now.
you
He
got,
has a great life.
I know because I saw your routine. Basically, you get up, you feed him, you go for a walk, then you go to the dog park. Sometimes there's dogs there and you can play with them. Otherwise, he just stays for a little bit and he comes back. You've given him a great, great life. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I do my best. He deserves it. Bowie's completely changed my life. So, what can I do? I mean, I have it's a very old car with high mileage, but I bought a version of my dream car recently.
What was that?
And it's a GMC Yukon.
Oh, you got a nice big car. Awesome. It's
Yeah,
actually
like
an
blacked
SUV.
out.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah. So it's really nice for driving, for
Yeah.
having lots of passengers. And every day I see this car in my driveway, I'm like, it's pretty much my dog's car. My dog is the reason I bought this car. I never would have been able to do that without everything that's happened, with Bowie. So
Yeah.
I try to give him everything I can. It's only right. So we get him the best sponsors. We get him, he has a raw freeze dried food sponsor, and it's like really high end stuff. I mean, it probably costs 10 or 12 bucks a day to feed him with this dog food.
Now, are
Is
sponsors,
how high quality it is.
yeah, are sponsors coming to you, Kevin, or do you reach out to them, or do they just see you on social media and say, oh, we need to have this guy with our brand?
Yeah, sponsors reach out to me all of the time,
Yeah.
dozens of emails every day. Most of them are just trying to give me free stuff.
Really?
And me do a
That's
promotion
great.
for them in return.
Yeah.
I don't do any of that stuff.
You don't.
If I accepted it,
Yeah.
if I did all of them, my social media would just be a constant ad. So,
Right.
yeah, towards the beginning, I would take what I could get. And these days, I'm very, very picky with who I choose to go with. I want to make sure any brands that we represent, go with our values and everything that we want to promote and support. So we have Get Joy, which is the best dog food in the world. We have Pet Relief. They do the best CBD treats, dog supplements, and they're local out of Colorado.
Yeah.
And then just kind of a cute, fun one is Dangle It. They do the air fresheners. So you upload a picture of your dog and they put it on an air freshener and you hang it from your
heard of that
rear view mirror. So yeah, we got
That's
them
cool.
and some other cool stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's random ones that come along, like FlexiSpot that sent us these chairs. I was like, I'm building a studio in the garage. These chairs are really nice. I can't afford them.
Oh my God, your chairs are beautiful. I saw the video and they look super comfortable. And
They're
you've
really
got
nice.
one, and I love that Bowie's got his own too.
Yeah, these ones rock
Yeah.
and swivel, and Bowie, unfortunately, is kind of afraid of that. So I gave him his own little black chair over here that doesn't move,
Right.
so that he can be comfortable. So we'll see in the future as we try to possibly do a podcast of our own. I don't know what we're doing with this space exactly, but
Yeah.
we'll see if Bowie wants to hang out in a chair for that long. It's not like the car where he doesn't have anywhere to go, and here he probably prefers to just lay on the ground.
Yeah,
So.
that's true. Now, speaking of which, when you have him in the car, I notice it looks like there's some sort of a box, or like there's something that's keeping him in between you. I don't know if it's a box or what you have there. What is he in?
Yeah, so 2 cars ago, when I started bringing Bowie in the front seat, he, the separation anxiety thing, he wants to be real close to me all the time. So he tried to lay in my lap while I'm driving. He's 65 pounds. That's not going to fly.
No, yeah.
He shifted me into neutral one time and I was like, okay, that's the
not
end of
gonna
that.
work.
So yeah, so I tried a few different things. I couldn't find any products on the market that would work for what I was trying to do. So I just kind of used what I had and built it. So essentially what it is it's a crate divider from his cage that he had when he was a puppy.
Right.
So that's like the metal cage piece that's inside of it. I took a sunshade from my car 5 cars ago and wrapped that over the top of it to soften it up a little bit. And then I took his puppy blanket, his comfort blanket from when he was a puppy, the blue one that's become kind of a staple on the show now, and wrapped that over that and tucked it between the seats. So it's a perfect size, the perfect placement. It looks really cute. And I think it provides Bowie a sense of comfort because that blanket's been with him his whole life.
Well, it's a security blanket, right?
Yes, a security blanket. So, who knows? It could be the blanket. Maybe that's the reason that, he's so sweet because he knows he's in a safe place. I have no idea.
You know what? I think it's just because he is so in love with you. You take such good care of him. And what dog doesn't love to just ride around with their owner, all day and then meet people, have all these women. I know I've seen all the girls come over and take photos and pet them and they want to take them home. And you just make so many people's day or actually not you, Kevin, I'm sorry to say, is actually Bowie, right?
Bowie loves it. The passengers love it. Yeah. And I think what's created a really special thing because I was just driving anywhere and everywhere when I first started this. Yeah. So I was going all around Denver doing airport trips and, it was maybe 1 out of every 20 rides that would end up on the show. But these days I sort of found the life hack, which is CU Boulder, which is, 1, Colorado's super dog friendly. And 2, these kids are all at college for entire semesters, not getting to see their dogs back home. Their dogs are back home out of state somewhere.
That's right. They miss their own dog.
They miss their dogs. So when they're out having a night on the town and drinking, they get into the Uber, unsuspecting, they see a dog. They just lose it. They start shrieking. They lose their minds. So I'm providing a service in Boulder. These kids, I've had 11 people now cry actual tears because they're so happy to see a dog.
Oh, really?
And I'm counting.
Doesn't that make your day?
It does. It's really sweet. I love it. I love every minute of it.
Where do you see yourself going? I know you're thinking about using your studio for something else and starting a new podcast, but with 517,000 followers, and it goes up every time I look at it on Instagram, then you've got TikTok, YouTube. Where do you see yourself going from here?
I have so many ideas. I've always been an idea person. Yeah. I've always been very entrepreneurial since I was a kid. I started a skateboard company when I was 13 years old. Which ones of those ideas do I actually end up doing? I don't know, but there's one big idea. And, the hard part these days is because my fans like a certain type of content. They want to keep seeing this same stuff. They want it to be like how it's always been since the beginning. And anytime I try to throw a wrench in it or change anything, they get angry. So it's hard to want to stray from it. Of course, I want to keep doing the same content I'm doing, have Uber passengers reacting to my dog and have awesome conversations, wholesome content, funny stuff, crazy college nights. I'm going to keep doing that stuff because it seems to be doing well. But long term, I have a main goal for a business that I want to start. Coming from a skateboarding background, I grew up at a state-of-the-art indoor skateboard park in California called Skate Lab that went out of business after 21 years. And what I really want and what Colorado really needs is to have an indoor skate park in the state to create sort of a safe place for kids to go skate that's not affected by weather, and the parents could just drop them. I used to get dropped as a kid at the skate park for 12 hours and I'd just be there all day. I would just skate my butt off.
Your parents knew where you were and you were safe and you were having fun, right? The indoor skate parks in Colorado are not great. Right. So I'd like to build something like that. And since it's not a profitable venture, most indoor skate parks go out of business. I'm going to incorporate a few different businesses under one roof. We want to have staging and lighting for local bands and DJs to come play live shows, have a restaurant, a bar, a bowling alley, kind of like a man cave of a business, and just have this awesome place that, it's like this garage is sort of a miniature version of it. Your garage is a man's cave.
It is. We haven't gotten the pool table yet, but eventually we're going to get the pool table. We even have let me see if I could show you this. Yeah. The bar lights up there.
You do? Oh my gosh. So it is a man cave.
It's so much fun. So I want to do something like that, not just for myself, but for the community of skateboarders that need it. I want to, we'll have a studio in there, maybe have our podcast studio there, do something dog related. I want to stay on brand, but also this is a once in a million, once in a lifetime opportunity that nobody gets. So why not try to work towards doing something that is exactly on track with what I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I hope that I get to build that dream someday as well.
I have a feeling that you will be able to do that.
I hope so.
Yeah. It's been a pleasure, Kevin, talking to you. I wish I could see Bowie one more time, because that dog is just so adorable. Where is he?
Come here.
Bowie.
Come on.
Oh, there's his. Oh, there he is. Okay. How old is Bowie, by the way, Kevin?
Bowie is 3 years old.
Oh, he's just a pup. You've got lots of time with him. Enjoy.
Yeah, lots of time left. Lots of fun rides.
Yeah.
Lots to come in the future, right, Bowie?
Yeah, and lots of people to make smile, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. He's doing a great job.
Thanks so much for taking the time, Kevin. I know you're busy. Continued success. Please continue doing what you're doing and making people happy, because that's what you guys are doing right now.
Thank you so much. We'll do. Okay. We're going to keep it going.
All right. Thanks. You take care, and good luck with the skate park idea. Enjoy your man cave.
You. Yes, we'll do.
Okay. Take care.
Thanks. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for watching. Happy game days. Go out. Subscribe down below.
Like, follow, link tree, subscribe.
Subscribe and follow.
Yes.
I'm gonna follow the Instagram.
Follow the TikTok.
I'm gonna follow the TikTok. Like and subscribe.
Uber dog.